Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new around here, my name is Keiko. I'm a watercolor paint maker and artist based in Hawaii. And if you followed me for a while, you know that I love art challenges. I have been hosting a weekly art challenge over on Instagram, Aloha Watercolors, for years now. Every year, every week. And other than that weekly challenge, I also really enjoy participating in daily challenges. The latest one I've participated in was hosted by KT Moody, who's also here on YouTube. I'll leave a link down below so you can check out her account. And in the first part of the video here, I'm going to show you a quick flip through the 30 prompts. And in part 2 of the video, I'm going to prep this big sketchbook for my upcoming 100-day challenge. And let me tell you, 100 days is a long time. So I had this idea to breaking the 100 days down into 10 by 10 days. And every 10 day is its own theme. All right, but let's do the 30-day flip through first. And then in part 2, we'll get to the 100-day challenge. Hello and welcome to part 1 of today's video, flip through my little sketchbook here. This was actually another 30-day challenge in January called Burb Fest. And then I have this little washi tape in here to mark where I started the recent 30-day challenge hosted by KT. And I wrote down the prompts here on these first 3 pages, and I actually made a mistake, so I had to go that prompted me to put the washi tape on top, which then in the end turned out to be a good idea because I can always tell really quickly where the challenge started. So I wrote down all 30 prompts and I made little swatches of the colors that I was going to use. And from the get-go, I thought that probably I'm going to end up combining 2 days into one prompt. So that's usually, it's just natural that this kind of thing happens when you want to create daily, but there is things like your job, life happening. So I always keep in mind that I might not be able to do 1 prompt per day, but maybe 2 prompts in one day. This was day 1. The prompt was favorite art supplies or draw your art supplies, and I chose just one, which was this luminance colored pencil. And because I love drawing birds, I drew this Hawaiian amakihi bird. I did the whole challenge mostly with brush pens, so I did the shapes first and then went over the shapes with colored pencil, and sometimes I used crayons or Neocolor too. This prompt was Pop of Orange, and because we have 2 lovely orange cats, I thought I'd just draw them in different of their, funky sleeping poses when they pretzel themselves into these incredible shapes and fall asleep. I mean, honestly, I couldn't get up after falling asleep like that. So this was the first example of putting together 2 prompts into one day. This was day 3 and 4, houseplant, and then 2 colors, olive green and soft pink was the other prompt. So I decided to do a few different things. This year, 2025, is the year of the snake. I wanted to do a snake pot and a snake plant, and because cats and snakes and everything that looks like snakes is a thing. So I don't know if you've heard that, but if you put even just a cucumber down on the floor and the cat walks by, it might just jump away 3 feet because it gets scared. Anyways, I thought it would be a fun idea to draw a cat with the plant and, kind of like have a little tiny story going on. Then day 5 was probably the most difficult for me because it was the master study. I looked at artwork by my favorite Hawaiian artist, Herb Kane, and this is my favorite painting of his, Daughters of the Sea. And instead of just trying to copy the whole painting, I just took parts of the painting and interpreted them with brush pen and colored pencil. He painted in acrylics, so everything's totally different in his painting when it comes to texture. But yeah, this actually turned out to be my favorite spread of the whole challenge. So this was great. I've never done this type of prompt before, but I really enjoyed creating this double spread. And this is, again, 2 days in one prompt. It was a material I don't usually reach for, which are graphite pencils. And then I combined it with observational drawing. So I just happened to have these pencils here. These were a gift by my friend Marie from Australia. And these are pencils, full graphite, so no wood, and they're excellent, absolutely fantastic, by Stettler, which is a German company. And by the way, these are ceramic soy sauce container from Japan. Day 8, another super cool challenge was drawing with a timer. So I gave myself 5 minutes and drew this bird. I can't unfortunately remember the name of the bird, but I think it was an African bird. But again, a very, very interesting prompt, and I can highly recommend drawing with timers. This was collage, and I decided yet again to put a bird in my collage. I cut up a Hawaiian Airlines magazine for this one, and I printed out the radio. I'm just thinking why I did the radio. I can't quite remember. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I should make little notes why I choose different things. Let's go on to the next day. This is day 9, which was draw a person. My sister has recently sent me a photo of her daughter, so my niece, loving on this book, Tippy of Africa, which is something that I gave my sister when she was a kid. So it's really beautiful how in our ohana the circle closes where the kids of the kids love the same books. I used to find drawing people very difficult, so I practiced it a few years ago for a whole year every day. And yeah, it's getting better. But I still enjoy drawing birds the most, so there you go. This was a fun one. This prompt was draw your day. It was actually a bit of an exceptional day for me because usually my days are filled with a lot of filming and editing and making paint for my business and doing administrative work, emails and taxes and all that kind of stuff and stuff in the household. But on that day, I actually ventured out and visited a beautiful botanical garden with native Hawaiian plants. And I did some order packing, also very common for me, do this every day. And then I got to watch a movie. And because our TV had been broken for, I think, 6 months or forever, we hadn't actually watched anything much. So this was a real treat. The Sea Beast on Netflix. Highly recommend. Animated movie. Absolutely cool. All right. I can already tell this is not a quick flip through because I'm just talking stories so much. Again, 2 prompts into one, day 13 and 14. Was creating something in panels. So panels are these windows here, and texture, working with texture. So I took photos from that experience in the botanical garden from the day before, which were detail shots of the plants there. And then I used crayons, colored pencils, brush pens to create some texture. The reason why it's shiny is because I sprayed it with a clear spray so it wouldn't smear all across the page. But before I sprayed, you could really see the texture. It was almost like coming off the page. Again, 2 days into one, which was line work first and then line work second. And I thought it would be interesting to compare. So for this butterfly, I drew the outline first in this aubergine eggplant color. and then colored it in. And on this page, I did the shapes first. So you can imagine that it was really just a yellow blob, no contours, nothing. It looked terrible. And then I went over it with colored pencil. However, honestly, in the outcome, they look very similar. I kind of expected more of a difference, but I guess not. Day 18 was penguin. I did this with brush pens, colored pencil, and then I also used pan pastels for the background. These guys here, soft pastels in a pan, and you can really create smooth, nice gradients. This just doesn't look as smooth because then I went over it with crayon. Day 19, not my favorite, but you know, again, this is a sketchbook, so totally legit to have not so favorite pages in there. This is what's on your table. I drew a plant, and there was some papers, receipts, a little cat dish with rings on the table. I do like the contrast. The dark table, we have a black glass table, and then, you know, the bright colors on top, but overall not very fond of this one. But then this one I absolutely love. This might be my other favorite. Yeah, I'd say this one, and then the master study. This was lots of Neocolor too, and pan pastels, and then a bit of brush pen here, pink spots in the nose, and actually I used some watercolor here as well. Then day 21 was favorite medium. My favorite medium is actually watercolor and color pencils, but for bigger shapes in this particular sketchbook, which is Royal Talens art creation, I usually avoid doing a lot of watercolor. You know, details is fine, but for bigger shapes, I just do brush pens instead. So brush pens and then color pencil on top. Day 22 was dramatic sky, and I just did 2 skies after reference photos I took here at the local beach. This is watercolor, pan pastels, color pen, and brush pen, and Neocolor, so a lot of mediums. And then this was Miss Henrietta Daisy. Based on a true story that happened to me, I parked my Jeep at the local art center, and I left the windows open because even though this is only March, it's already, when your car is parked in the sun, it can get pretty hot. I come back to the car. There is a chicken in my car laying an egg in the back seat where the dog blanket is. So I just had to draw it. And again, I'm not sure what I think the prompt was pen and ink. So I did the outlines with black ink. Day 24 was Google Maps, is what Katie called it. So basically what you do is you drop a random pin somewhere on a maps, digital map, like MapCrunch or Google Maps, and you draw whatever comes up in the, you know, the photo street view. So I dropped my pins on the island of Kauai in Hawaii, and these were just, you know, landscapes and roads, but I kind of smiled when this came up. So I just pulled up this digger excavator that was doing some road work, and you know, that Google car must have just driven by during that road work. Day 25 was drawing on location. So this is out of my car with my little dog. He's looking out of the window at a local art gallery. This is right in front of the small post office we have close to here. So I sat in the car and I did only the line drawing, and then I went home and finished it at home. Day 26 was a wildflower study. This here is the Naupaka Kahakai, which is a indigenous Hawaiian plant that grows plentiful along the coast and beach. It's very hardy. It can withstand, you know, heat and salt water and all that. And the flowers are only this size. And they look like somebody cut them in half. There's a few versions of legends and myths behind this plant here in Hawaii. Very easy to find. You can just look it up on the internet when you look up Naupaka lovers legend or myth. This one, so I went to Costco, which is a large supermarket here, and I love tropical fruits, and I've never tried this one, and I just loved the packaging because I love lime green color, and they tricked me because, I mean, I can eat it, but I don't love it, honestly. It's very, very strong. The smell is very strong, and if you have not had it, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not like you would expect maybe a mango or pineapple taste. It's really kind of stinky smelly. So just like I did with the snake plant in the beginning of the challenge, I wanted to put my cat in there. And, you know, instead of me going, blah, I wanted my cat to do it. Poor cat. I don't think he would like it though, I'm pretty sure. So this looks a bit different because for this one I actually grabbed my gouache, my acrylic gouache paints, 2 colors, and the prompt was soft pink. I think what, no, not soft pink, pink base layer. And I combined Katie's prompt with one of my own challenges prompts, which was William Morris inspired pattern. So my own challenge is the weekly challenge over on Instagram, Aloha Watercolors, where I have 1 prompt per week and a color per month. So this month's color in March 2025 is soft pink. That's why I chose that background color. Day 29 was Speedy Sparrow, so I used the timer again, 5 minutes per birds, and because I didn't want them to be brown, I felt like drawing something in pink. I drew them in pink. And this is a bit of an unusual spread for me, and I guess that's because I followed Katie along in her live stream. Katie has just published a new book, or her first book, I should say, Sketchbook Joy. This was also the name of this 30-day challenge, 30 Days of Sketchbook Joy. And to celebrate the publication of her book, we painted the scene in Cornwall, England together. And it's gouache layer, base layer, and then colored pencil on top, and then some more acrylic gouache here for the pops of pink. All right, this was the flip through, the very, very long, chatty flip through the 30 days of this sketchbook challenge. And now let's get to the big one. Welcome to part 2 of this video, where I'll talk about my ideas for my upcoming 100-day challenge. So first of all, the sketchbook I'm using for the challenge is a Fabriano Venezia. It's pretty big. It's pretty much the opposite of what I used for Katie's 30-day challenge. So this is a 9 by 12 inch or 23 by 30 centimeters and has 90-pound paper or 200 GSM. So it's actually pretty thick, thicker than the Royal Talens that I used, and it can take watercolor pretty well. So I'm just going to show you what I've done in this so far. This is a spread I made in another YouTube video here. If you're interested, I'll leave a card up here for you to check out. And for most of these spreads, I used a mix of watercolor, pan pastels, and crayons and colored pencils. And while I was thinking about how to tackle a 100-day challenge, I thought, how can I make this more manageable? So looking through this sketchbook, and I looked at quite a few sketchbooks because I wanted to choose the right sketchbook. I had this idea of, instead of doing 1 page or 1 whole page spread for 1 prompt, I'm just going to put 5 prompts on 1 double page. and I want to start doing the background first. So I always feel that if you do the background first, then you already have something on the white page and it's not so intimidating anymore. So the whole approach for this challenge will be to do the background first and then to put 5 prompts on a double page. And it's 5 prompts because I'm breaking down this challenge of 100 days into 10 parts, and every part has 10 prompts, and every part has a theme, and I'm starting with the theme fish. To make this more interesting, I decided to do different areas that we can choose from. So what I mean by that is that it's not just fish, but the area number 1 is location, meaning it could be a tropical fish, fish from a lake, from a river, or the deep sea. Then you can combine this with a medium, watercolor, gouache, pencil, crayons, ink, or mixed media. And then what I call style, for lack of a better word. So for example, you can use just 2 colors, just do neon fluorescent colors, simply a line drawing with a timer, doing panels, just a quick sketch. So I'd say quick, like less than 10 minutes. You can use analogous color palette. You can include fun facts about that fish, or you can just do tiny drawings. And you can see that a lot of these prompts were actually inspired by Katie's 30-day challenge that I'd just finished. So the idea is to either randomly choose, one of each. So you could do a river fish with 2 colors in gouache, but I want to leave it totally open. So I thought, hey, you could just do 10 days of just doing river fish or tropical fish, which is what I will be doing. I decided I'm going to do 10 days of Hawaiian fish, but then I'll do different mediums, like mixed media. So I'll use different mediums, and I'll try and do different styles as well. For the background, I'm going to be using my pan pastels. These are soft pastels in a pan shape, so it's almost like using makeup. You can actually purchase makeup sponges. So I never purchased the sponges that are made by the company, but I just went ahead and got a whole bag of these sponges, probably 50 or so, for a few dollars. And because we're going to be underwater painting fish, I'm going to for sure use this turquoise, I think it is. Turquoise, and then also magenta clear or magenta tint. So very, very white version, or whitened version of magenta. Ooh, this would be nice too, maybe for the bottom. So I'm not per se going to work with a limited color palette, which is very rare for me. I love working with limited color palettes, but I thought, because I have so many other restrictions, that I'm going to keep it more open in the color department. So I'm going to go light to dark. You can use the pan pastels and really make very, very, very smooth gradients, or you can wedge and accentuate. This is what I usually like to do, but they are created actually in the sense of soft pastels and really beautiful, subtle and smooth gradients. But yeah, I love texture, so I'm going to use them a bit more wild. As I told you earlier, I'm going to be painting Hawaiian fish, and my friend Tracy from over in Honolulu was kind enough to send me this link to a website that shows a whole bunch of Hawaiian reef fish. So I'm going to be painting 10 of these, and the first 5 will go here on today's page spread. So color-wise, you can see there's a lot of yellow in these fish. Yellow, and then also a few quite dark colors. So dark indigo, black. I'm gonna just choose 5 of these and then draw in the outlines. I'm gonna speed up the video at this point and put some music on. Can we just please look at the Hawaiian name of this fish? The Lauwili Wili Nuku Nuku Oi Oi. So good. I mean, it's gonna take me a while to remember that one. I got the outlines of my 5 fish for the first 5 prompts down on my double page spread, and you can see that I lightly also wrote down the name underneath the fish so I can look up the reference again. One more thing about the particular references I'm using, because these are from a .gov website, those pictures are in the public domain and free to use. However, if you want to make 100% sure that you use copyright-free reference material, check out places like unsplash.com or Pexels or Pixabay that have copyright-free images for you to use. You know, when in doubt, then it's always best to go to these websites, or, of course, you know, ask the person who took the photos if it's okay for you to use them for reference. I pulled out my Neocolor 2 crayons by Caran d'Ache. These are water-soluble crayons, so you can just use them as, you know, almost like regular crayons if you like, but they are also water-soluble, so you can go over them with a paintbrush and some water to blend the colors. But I'm not even sure if I want to do that, so let's see. I'm just gonna start coloring the whole fish and then maybe also adding some water. All right, I'm gonna speed up this part of the video and put some music on. Here we go. I put down all my Neo colors, and I do think I want to smoothen out some of them with some water. So I'm dipping my size 4 round brush in water and just go over the Neo colors lightly to blend them. And at this point, it almost feels like painting with gouache. It's very opaque. It's very satisfying to get water on these crayons and to mix and blend them. pulled out my letter stamps and a fluorescent pink ink pad. All right, let's go. Ki ka. You know, the good thing is, because the Hawaiian alphabet only has 13 letters, you don't need as many stamps. And if you're like me and have all these stamps like this in a bag, not very organized, it takes forever to find them. I should really sort them better. Okay. Kika. Kika ka pu. There's the P. And here's the U. And then because I don't have diacritics in the stamps, let me just get a pencil. All right. This just means that the emphasis is on the A. So it's not kika kapu, it's kika kapu. Here we go. Fish number 1 is done. Just thinking about, should I even write down day 1 of 100? Nah, I think what I'm rather gonna do is somewhere at the bottom, I'm gonna just say something like day 1 till 5. So as you can see, I'm just making this up while I go. So I like to have like a general idea and outline for the challenge, but then on a day-to-day basis, I like to be just free and, you know, just create. I hope today's video inspired you to, if not joining a challenge, then at least maybe, you know, preparing a background in your sketchbook and just get painting. All right, until the next video, happy creating and aloha! Well, look what I just found in my car at the donkey mill.
I left the window open to let out the heat. And hello there. Hi. Hi, pretty. What you doing in there? You coming with me? Wow. Now what am I going to do with you? Huh? This is so cool. It's still warm.